So it's been a week since I got back from DC, and I still can't believe that it happened. Truthfully, the entire experience just feels like a dream, and I am forever thankful that I got to be part of it. And it's crazy because one day I was just walking around campus and I saw the flyer, LSC in DC Civic Engagement Experience, and that same day that I saw it, I had a meeting with my officers because I'm the president of the Mexican American Student Alliance. And I told them, hey, we should apply for this and see if we all get it. Of course, not everybody got it, but 3 of my officers, including myself, we got this experience to go to DC, and it was amazing. I feel like during this trip I got to learn a lot from them. I got to learn a lot from my officers, Mariano, Rafael, 2 who I work with and I'm also very close with as well. They are very rich in their history. They can relate things that they can relate history, whether it was from the past or from today, to their own life experiences. And I think there's something very beautiful in that, because that means history isn't forgotten. And I've never been a history person at all, but I love hearing history from other people. So while I'm visiting all these museums, my officer Rafael, he's like, oh, did you know about this? Did you know about that? And I said, no, I didn't know anything about it, but I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy to hear about it. I'm so happy to learn about it. I mean, things about history that you see in museums, it's truthfully things that they don't teach you in school. And even if they did, there's something very different from seeing things in person versus learning them in class, right? Because I actually have the visual representation of it. And when I went to the National Archives and I saw the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, oh my, I couldn't believe it. It was unreal. And it reminded me of something my professor said once. Professor Heidi Green said once that the America is still pretty young. We are babies. We are 250 years old, and we haven't lived a lot of history yet. I mean, to humans, 250 years is a lot, but to political scientists, that is nothing. That means that we are still writing history, living history, and we will keep doing so for the next thousands of years, which, even though that might feel long for us, it'll be a short time period for political scientists. And there was such a beauty in that. Like, it made me realize as I'm walking down DC, wow, important people were walking down here once, and important people still walk these streets today. I went to the James Madison's house, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and I think to myself, wow, I'm walking in the same place where they once walked. And not only that, they owned slaves, right? And so there's a contradictory, especially between some of the presidents that believed in free slavery, or believed in not having slaves, and then they owned slaves, right? Like, they felt like that was something for the next generation to fix, and the next generation felt like that was something for the next generation to fix. And so we go through all these years of America being established, and when you think about it, slavery only ended 70 years ago, probably. That feels like yesterday to some people, There are people who are still alive today that lived through that era of slavery, and it really makes you rethink how young America is. And when you step into those places like DC with such a deep, rich history of it, it makes you think. So that was one. Another one was visiting all the memorials, the Arlington Cemetery, the Vietnam Memorial as well, the Korean Memorial. I feel like the Korean War is so forgotten about simply because we were only there for a short amount period of time, but it still happened. We still lost people, and it was nice to pay our respects. My boyfriend's grandfather, he served in the Vietnam War, and so you pay those respects and you thank those people for their service. And I think it was very emotional for some people when we were there, because of all the pain that it caused. And when you survive something like that, it traumatizes you. And I know people who were part of the Vietnam War, they come and they look outside the window and they're scared. Even though no danger is coming, they're scared. And so you really start to see how deep that history is, and how not only it affected the American people, of course, but the world, the people who were fighting in the trenches. It was just a different time back then. But regardless, it was still very nice to be in DC, learn about everything. It was really nice to learn about everything. It was really nice to see Chancellor Castillo and meet the board of trustees from Tomball, Daniel Mesa. He was the vice president of LASO in Tomball, because he was a student in Tomball. And so my historian Rafael told me, hey, did you know he was the vice president of LASO in Tomball like 10 years ago? I said, what? That's crazy. And so we sparked conversation from that, and he told me that they focus on a lot of literature, advocacy, and he was mentored by Tony Diaz, who is known as the Libro Traficante, which stands for book smuggler, because they have banned books in certain states, and we're trying to bring those books back, right? And so knowing that he was mentored by someone who my officers right now are very involved with feels like a full circle kind of moment. Like, wow. And being in DC amplifies that energy even more. Like, wow, we are actually working towards a goal. And it's crazy because he's older, he's one of the board of trustees, and or like the next ones that come right after him, or the younger generation. And so to have someone who is also working towards the same goals that he once was and still continues to do, feels like you have someone who will continue to do your work even when you grow up and everything. So just being there was an experience that I'll never forget about, an experience that I'll take deep in my heart. And I'm thankful to everybody at Lone Star College, the system, and to Professor Colby and the chaperones for everything. I definitely recommend every single student to go to DC, and not just to go to DC. Any opportunity that you see, just seize the opportunity. So that's all I have to say. Thanks.